I pulled into the driveway that Friday afternoon, my suitcase still rattling in the trunk from the early flight home. My business trip had wrapped up a day ahead of schedule, and I was excited to surprise the family, maybe fire up the grill for an impromptu barbecue since our daughter Emily and her husband Mark were staying over for the weekend. The house looked peaceful as ever, our cozy suburban home with the white picket fence we'd painted together years ago. I grabbed my bag and headed inside, calling out, "Hey, anyone home? I'm back early." Welcome to Brian's Stories. I share new life stories here every day, and I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and liked my video. Drop a comment down below telling me where you're watching from and what time it is for you, right? Now, I read every single comment, and it helps me to know I'm not alone in this. That's when I spotted Mark in the living room, slouched on the couch with his phone in hand. He didn't look up, didn't even acknowledge me. "Mark, everything all right?" I asked, setting my bag down. He mumbled something vague about work emails, his face turning red, shifting uncomfortably like he couldn't sit still. His eyes stayed glued to the screen, avoiding mine completely. It was weird. Not like the confident guy I'd known for years. I frowned, feeling a twinge of unease, but before I could press him, I heard the creak of a door down the hall. It was the bathroom in the guest suite, the one Emily and Mark were using during their stay. Out stepped my wife, Linda, her hair tousled like she'd just woken from a nap. Her blouse buttoned unevenly as if thrown on in a rush. She froze when she saw me, her cheeks flushing, eyes widening in surprise. "John? What are you doing here so soon?" she stammered, smoothing her shirt with shaky hands. I stood there, staring between her and Mark, my heart starting to pound. Why was she in their bathroom? Mark fidgeted even more, still refusing to meet my gaze. The air felt thick, charged with something unspoken, and a cold wave of disbelief washed over me. This couldn't be what it looked like, could it? My mind raced back over our life together, trying to make sense of the moment. Linda and I had been married for 35 years, ever since we fell in love in college and scraped by on ramen noodles in our first tiny apartment. We built everything from nothing, a stable job for me as an accountant, her part-time shifts at the library, and this comfortable house in the suburbs where we raised our 2 kids. Our son Mike was out in the city now, starting his own family, but Emily lived nearby. Married to Mark for the past 5 years. He was a sales manager, always charming at our barbecues and holiday dinners. Just last summer, we'd all gone to the lake, laughing over campfires and boat rides. Everything felt so normal, so solid. Family gatherings were the highlight of our weeks, full of inside jokes and shared meals. But standing there, watching Linda avoid my eyes while Mark squirmed, I felt the first crack in that perfect picture. Something was deeply wrong, and in that instant, I knew my world had just shifted forever. I stood there in the living room, my bag still at my feet, staring at Linda as she smoothed her hair and adjusted her blouse. Mark was still on the couch, his phone clutched tight, his knuckles white. The silence stretched out, heavy and uncomfortable, like everyone was holding their breath. "Linda, what were you doing in their bathroom?" I finally asked, my voice steady but my heart racing. She blinked, then let out a nervous laugh, stepping closer to me. "Oh, John, it's nothing. I was just helping with something." Mark nodded quickly from the couch, still not looking up. "Yeah, plumbing issue. The sink was clogged." I felt a surge of anger mix with the shock, my mind screaming that this didn't add up. Plumbing in the guest bathroom? Why not call me or wait till I got home? I pressed, taking a step toward her. Linda's face tightened and she crossed her arms. "Because you weren't here, John. Mark mentioned it earlier and I figured I could fix it quick." "No big deal," Mark chimed in, his voice a bit too high. "Exactly. Emily was out picking up groceries, so Linda offered to help. We didn't want to bother anyone." "Ha!" But Emily's car had been in the driveway when I pulled up. I'd seen it plain as day. "Emily was here," I said, pointing toward the window. "Her car's right outside. She wasn't out anywhere." Linda hesitated, her eyes darting to Mark for a split second before she recovered. "Well, she stepped out right after. Must have just missed her coming back." Mark shifted again, slipping his phone into his pocket like he was hiding something. I caught a glimpse of the screen before it disappeared, a notification popping up, but he locked it too fast for me to read. "This doesn't make sense," I said, my tone sharpening. "You look like you just rolled out of bed, Linda. And Mark, why won't you even look at me? What's really going on here?" She sighed, putting a hand on my arm like she was calming a child. "John, you're overreacting. The trip must have tired you out. Let's just drop it and have a nice evening." But I couldn't drop it. The way they were acting, the mismatched stories, it all felt wrong. I turned to Mark directly. "Mark, tell me straight. What was my wife doing in your bathroom?" He finally lifted his head, his eyes meeting mine for a brief moment before flickering away. "Like I said, plumbing. I appreciate the help, really. His words came out forced, like he was reading from a script. Linda jumped in again. See? It's fine. Now, how about I make some coffee? You must be starving after your flight. She moved toward the kitchen, trying to steer me away, but I stayed put. No, I want answers. This feels off, and you're both acting guilty as hell. We ended up in the kitchen anyway, with Linda busying herself at the counter while Mark hovered near the door like he wanted to bolt. Guilty? That's ridiculous, she said, pouring water into the coffee maker. We've got family here for the weekend. Emily will be back any minute. Do you really want to start drama over nothing? Mark nodded along. Yeah, John, let's not ruin the vibe. Emily's excited about the barbecue idea you mentioned. But his phone buzzed in his pocket, and he pulled it out just enough to glance at it. His face paling, I saw the sender's name flash Linda's. Why was she texting him right now? He silenced it quickly, but not before I noticed. Show me that, I said, reaching out. Mark jerked back. It's private, work stuff. Linda turned around sharp. John, stop it. You're being paranoid. The word hit me like a slap, but it only fueled the fire. Paranoid? You two are the ones whispering and hiding phones. We argued back and forth for what felt like forever. Their excuses piling up like a house of cards. Linda claimed she'd been in there fixing a leak with tools from the garage. But I knew those tools were locked up, and she didn't have the key. Mark said he was just stressed from work, explaining his fidgeting. But his job was steady. He'd bragged about a promotion last month. As the sun dipped lower outside, Emily finally walked in the door, groceries in hand. Hey everyone, Dad, you're home early, awesome! She beamed, setting the bags down. Mark rushed over to help her, planting a quick kiss on her cheek, but it looked forced. Linda shot me a warning look. See, everything's normal. Let's unpack and relax. I forced a smile for Emily's sake. Yeah, sounds good. But inside, I was boiling. We sat down for an early dinner that Emily insisted on cooking. Pasta with sauce, nothing fancy. The table talk was light at first, Emily chatting about her week at the office. So this new project is killing me, but in a good way, she said, twirling her fork. Mark laughed a bit too loud. Tell me about it. Sales quotas are up again. Linda passed the bread. You two work so hard. John, how was the trip? I answered shortly. Fine, wrapped early. But my eyes kept drifting to Linda and Mark, noticing how they avoided touching or even glancing at each other now, like they were overcompensating. Emily picked up on the tension. Is everything okay? You all seem quiet. Linda waved it off. Just tired, sweetie. Long week. Mark agreed. Yeah, nothing a good meal won't fix. After dinner, Emily and Mark headed to the living room to watch TV, leaving Linda and me to clean up. That's when I cornered her by the sink. This isn't over, I whispered. Your stories don't match. Emily was here all along. Her car never moved. Linda rinsed a plate harder than necessary. John, let it go. You're imagining things. But her voice cracked just a little. Am I? Then why the text to Mark just now? She froze. What text? You must have seen wrong. I shook my head. I know what I saw. Something's up, and I'm going to figure it out. She dried her hands, turning to face me fully. Fine. If you want to play detective, go ahead. But you'll find nothing because there's nothing to find. Her defiance only made me more sure. As we joined the others, the evening dragged on with forced small talk. Emily suggesting a board game, Mark agreeing enthusiastically, Linda laughing at jokes that weren't funny. I played along, but my mind was elsewhere, replaying every odd moment from the past few months. Linda's late book club nights where she'd come home smelling like unfamiliar cologne. Secretive phone calls she'd take in the other room, whispering. Mark showing up more often for help with projects around the house, even when Emily wasn't around. Lying in bed that night, Linda asleep beside me, I stared at the ceiling. The affair, if that's what it was, had to have been building for months. Those family gatherings that seemed so normal now felt tainted. The lake trip last summer, where Linda and Mark had gone off for a hike alone while Emily and I fished. Her sudden interest in new clothes, saying it was for work. It all connected in my head, a web of lies. The house was quiet now. Emily and Mark settled in the guest suite down the hall. The clock on the nightstand ticking past midnight. I waited another half hour to be sure, my mind replaying every inconsistency from the confrontation, the plumbing excuse that didn't hold. Water, the quick glance between them, that text notification on Mark's phone. My chest felt tight, like a vice squeezing my heart, but I couldn't just lie there anymore. I slipped out of bed carefully, barefoot on the carpet, and padded over to Linda's side. Her phone sat on the charger, screen dark, the passcode our anniversary date. Something she'd never bothered to change because she trusted me that much, or so I thought. I picked it up, my fingers trembling as I tapped in the numbers. The screen lit up, and I muted the volume right away, glancing back at her sleeping form. No movement. I opened her Messages app, scrolling through the recent threads. Chats with Emily about weekend plans, a group text with her book club friends. Nothing out of the ordinary at first. But then I saw a contact labeled Mark Work, which struck me as odd since Mark didn't work with her. I tapped it, and the conversation loaded, mostly mundane stuff about family dinners. Deeper down, though, there were gaps, deleted messages. But I remembered from a tech tip I'd read online that iPhones keep them in a recently deleted folder for 30 days. I navigated there, my pulse pounding in my ears, and sure enough, a bunch of texts popped up, timestamps from the last few weeks. The first one hit me like a gut punch. From Mark 2 days ago, missed you today. Same place tomorrow? Linda's reply. Can't wait, be there at noon. Another from last week. That was amazing. Love how you make me feel alive. Her response. You too, just delete this after. I scrolled further, finding mentions of a motel on the edge of town, the Blue Ridge Inn, with specific room numbers and times. One even had a photo attachment deleted, but the caption remained, for your eyes only. My hands shook so bad I nearly dropped the phone. This wasn't some innocent flirtation. These were plans for secret meetings, intimate ones. I felt sick, the betrayal sinking in deep like acid in my veins. How long had this been going on? Months from the dates. I took screenshots quickly, emailing them to myself from her phone, and then deleting the sent items to cover my tracks. I set the phone back down exactly as it was, cord plugged in, and slipped into the bathroom, locking the door. Staring at my reflection in the mirror, I looked like a ghost, pale, eyes red from holding back tears. This can't be real, I whispered to myself, gripping the sink. But it was. My wife of 35 years, the mother of my children, cheating with our daughter's husband. The humiliation burned, imagining them together while I was away on trips, building our future. I splashed water on my face, trying to steady my breathing. I couldn't confront them yet. I needed more, something undeniable. Back in bed, I didn't sleep a wink, my mind racing through every memory that now seemed tainted, the way Linda had been distant lately, complaining about our routine life, or how Mark always volunteered to help with errands when Emily was busy. The next morning, Saturday, I woke up to the smell of pancakes drifting from the kitchen. Linda was up early, humming as she flipped them on the griddle. Morning, sleepyhead, she said with a smile when I walked in, handing me a plate. Figured we'd have a nice family breakfast. Mark was already at the table, sipping coffee, finally making eye contact, but with that same guilty flicker. Hey, John. Sleep okay? He asked, his tone casual but forced. Emily bounced in from the hallway, hair in a ponytail. Dad, these look great. Mom's on a roll today? We all sat down, and I forced myself to eat, nodding along as Emily talked about a work project. So this client wants a full redesign by Monday. Stressful, but exciting, she said, buttering her pancake. Mark chimed in, You'll nail it, babe. You always do. Linda laughed. That's right. We're a family of winners here. But under the table, my leg bounced with anxiety. Pass the syrup, please, I said to Linda, watching her closely. She handed it over without a hitch, but I noticed her phone buzzing on the counter. She glanced at it, then ignored it. Who is that? I asked lightly. Just spam, she replied, too quick. Mark shifted in his seat, focusing on his food. After breakfast, Emily suggested a walk in the park nearby. Come on, it's beautiful out. Family time, Mark agreed. Sounds good to me, Linda nodded. I'll join in a bit, gotta clean up first. I saw my opening. Actually, I have a headache coming on. You three go ahead, I'll rest and catch up later. They headed out, Emily waving from the driveway. As soon as the car pulled away, I grabbed my notebook from the office, a plain one I used for work sketches, and started jotting down everything. Timestamps from the texts, noon meetings on Wednesdays, motel addresses, even a mention of a lunch spot downtown where they'd met last month. I added observations from the past, Linda's late library shifts that coincided with those dates, Mark's sudden business trips that overlapped. It was building a pattern clear as day. But I felt overwhelmed, like the walls were closing in. I needed to talk to someone, get perspective before I lost it. I picked up my phone and called my old friend Tom, the guy I'd known since college, who lived a few towns over. We met for golf sometimes, and he was always level-headed. Tom, it's John. You got a minute? It's important, I said when he answered. Sure, buddy. What's up? You sound rough. I paced the living room, keeping my voice low. I think Linda's cheating on me, with Mark, Emily's husband. There was a pause on the line. Whoa, John, that's heavy. What makes you think that? I told him about walking in early, the bathroom incident, the dodgy excuses in the texts I'd found. I've got screenshots, timestamps, locations. It's all there. Tom whistled low. Damn, that's brutal. First off, I'm sorry, man, but don't blow up yet. You need to play it smart. Gather more if you can, without tipping them off. Confront too soon and they'll cover their tracks. I nodded, even though he couldn't see. Yeah, that's what I figured. But what do I do? Tell Emily? File for divorce? He sighed. One step at a time. Document everything. Dates, places, any money spent. Talk to a lawyer quietly if it comes to that. And protect yourself, check joint accounts, make sure nothing's being drained. We talked for another 20 minutes, him advising discretion, reminding me to stay calm for the kids' sake. You've got leverage with those texts. Use it wisely. Call me anytime, okay? Hanging up, I felt a bit steadier, like I had a plan. I hid the notebook in my locked desk drawer, along with printouts of the screenshots I'd made on the home printer. Then I checked our shared calendar app. Sure enough, Linda had book club marked for next Wednesday at noon, the same time as one of the motel meets. It matched perfectly. My heart ached thinking about Emily, innocent in all this, and the grandkids we'd hoped for someday. If this blew up wrong, it could destroy everything. But ignoring it, that would eat me alive. After hanging up with Tom that Saturday midday, I sat in my office for a minute, staring at the screenshots on my computer. My hands were still shaking from seeing those texts, but his advice echoed in my head. Stay discreet, gather more. I couldn't just stop now. I needed something solid, like video proof, to make sure I wasn't going crazy. While Linda was out in the backyard watering her plants, and Emily and Mark were in the living room chatting about some TV show, I slipped into the garage. I grabbed a ladder and that small hidden camera I'd bought online a while back for security, the kind that looks like a plain air vent cover. This'll do, I muttered to myself, heading to the hallway near the guest suite. I positioned it carefully on the ceiling, angling it to catch the guest door and part of the entryway. It connected to an app on my phone, sending motion alerts. I tested it quick, walking past to see the feed pop up clear. Got it, I thought, putting the ladder away before anyone noticed. Back in the kitchen, Linda came in from outside, wiping her hands on her apron. John, you want some iced tea? It's hot out there. I nodded, forcing a smile as she poured a glass. Sure, thanks. How's the garden looking? She handed it over. Blooming nicely. Those roses are finally perking up. Mark wandered in then, grabbing a snack from the fridge. Hey, John, Emily's talking about grilling tonight. You in? His voice was casual, but he avoided looking straight at me. Yeah, sounds good, I replied, sipping the tea. Emily joined us, her phone in hand. Dad, I found this recipe for marinated chicken. What do you think? She showed me the screen and I leaned in. Looks tasty. Let's try it. We spent the afternoon prepping, but my mind was elsewhere. While they chopped veggies, I excused myself to the office again. Just checking emails, I said. In there, I opened our shared family safety app, the one we all used to keep tabs on each other for emergencies. I pulled up Linda's location history from the past month, then Mark's, overlaying them on the map. There they were. Clear as day, overlapping dots every Wednesday around noon at the Blue Ridge Inn on the edge of town. Timestamps matched the texts I'd screenshot, arriving separately, staying an hour or two, then leaving. One Wednesday, both phones showed at a coffee shop downtown first, then the motel. This can't be coincidence, I whispered, my stomach twisting. I took more screenshots of the maps, adding them to my hidden folder. The pattern screamed affair, deliberate and routine. How had I missed this? Linda claiming errands, Mark with client meetings. It all lined up now, burning like fire in my chest. That evening, we fired up the grill in the backyard. Emily flipped the chicken, laughing as smoke billowed up. Dad, remember that time you burned the burgers at the lake last summer? I chuckled weakly. How could I forget? You saved the day with those hot dogs. Mark basted the meat, glancing at Linda. Yeah, good times. We should plan another trip. Linda smiled at him across the grill. Absolutely. Family getaways are the best. I watched them, the casual chat feeling like a knife. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a test alert from the camera. But nothing yet. Pass the tongs, John? Mark asked, holding out his hand. I handed them over. Here. Don't overcook it. After dinner, we sat around the fire pit roasting marshmallows. Emily leaned against Mark, content. This weekend's been nice, even with you home early, Dad. Linda nodded. It has. Though John's been a bit quiet. Everything okay, honey? I waved it off. Just work stuff lingering. No big deal. But Emily frowned, scooting closer to me. Dad, you've seemed distant since you got back. Like, staring off sometimes. Is it really just work? You can talk to us? Her eyes were full of worry, and it hit me hard, my little girl, clueless about the storm brewing. I put an arm around her. I'm fine, sweetie, really. Maybe the trip wore me out more than I thought. She squeezed my hand. Okay, but if something's wrong, promise you'll tell me. We're family. We handle things together. I promise, I said, the words tasting like ash. Mark watched us, silent, while Linda changed the subject. How about some music? I'll put on that playlist from the lake. She grabbed her phone and tunes started playing. We talked about nothing important, Emily's job, Mark's latest sales win, but inside, I felt more alone than ever. Protecting her meant lying, carrying this weight solo. That night in bed, Linda snuggled up. "Good night, John. Love you." "Love you too," I murmured, but sleep didn't come. I checked the camera app instead, still quiet. Sunday morning, I woke to coffee brewing. Linda was in the kitchen, humming. "Morning? Eggs and toast?" she offered as I sat down. "Sure." Emily and Mark joined soon after, yawning. "Last day of the weekend," Emily said, buttering her bread. "Hate when it ends." Mark nodded. "Me too, but hey, we can come over more often." I ate quietly, my phone hidden under the table, glancing at the app. No overlaps today, but the history nagged at me. After breakfast, Emily pulled me aside in the hallway. "Dad, seriously, you barely said a word at breakfast. What's going on? Is it Mom? Health stuff?" Her voice cracked a little, and guilt flooded me. No, nothing like that," I assured her, hugging her tight. "I'm just dealing with some stress. Don't worry about it." She pulled back, searching my face. "But I am worried. You look exhausted. Talk to me, please." I hesitated, the truth on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't shatter her yet. "It's nothing you need to fret over, Em. I'll sort it out. Love you." She sighed. "Love you too. Just don't shut us out," Mark called from the living room. "Em, you ready for that walk?" She went, but her concern lingered, making my isolation sharper, like a wall between us. That afternoon, while they were out walking, I reviewed the app again. More patterns, a park last Thursday, both there mid-morning when Linda said she was at the library. Screenshots piled up, my notebook filling with notes. The camera caught Linda and Mark chatting alone in the entryway later. Nothing overt, but too close, laughing softly. Proof's building, I thought, saving the clip. But the ache grew. This secret probe was tearing me apart inside. Monday at work, I could hardly focus on my desk. During lunch, I checked the camera remotely, Linda home. Then Mark's dot moved toward our house on the app. The feed showed him arriving through the back door, Linda greeting him with a quick embrace before they vanished down the hall. An hour later, they reappeared, her fixing her hair. My blood boiled, but I saved the video, hands clenched. "This has to stop," I seethed silently. Back home that evening, Linda had dinner ready. "Rough day?" she asked, serving pasta. "Yeah," I said shortly. Emily texted me, "Dad, hope you're feeling better. Call if you need." I replied with a heart emoji, but the weight crushed me. The investigation had to go on. I was trapped, chasing the full truth while shielding my daughter from the fallout that could destroy us all. That Monday evening, I drove home with my mind spinning from the camera footage I'd seen at lunch, the way Linda had hugged Mark a little too long at the back door, their body language screaming intimacy before they slipped down the hall out of view. I gripped the wheel so hard my knuckles turned white, feeling this deep humiliation settle in my gut like a rock. How could they do this in our house, the place we'd built together for 35 years? I pulled into the driveway and sat there for a minute, imagining if this ever got out, relatives whispering at holidays, poor John, blindsided by his own family, or Emily's face crumbling when she learned the truth. The shame burned hot, making me feel like a fool who'd trusted too much. I took a deep breath and headed inside, trying to act normal for now. Linda was at the stove, stirring pasta sauce, the kitchen smelling like tomatoes and basil. She turned and smiled. "Hey, honey, dinner's almost ready." "How was work?" I dropped my bag by the door and leaned against the counter, forcing a nod. "Busy as usual. Smells good." But my voice came out tighter than I wanted, and she picked up on it right away. "You sure? You look tense. Sit down. I'll get you a drink." Who's she? She poured me some water, handing it over with that concerned look. I took a sip and set it down. "I'm fine, Linda. Just a long day." She crossed her arms, tilting her head. "You've been saying that a lot lately. If something's bothering you, talk to me. We're in this together, right?" I looked at her, the woman I'd loved for decades, and the heartbreak hit fresh. Disbelief that she'd betray me like this, with Mark of all people. "Together? That's funny coming from you." The words slipped out sharper than I meant, and her eyes narrowed. "What's that supposed to mean, John? You've been acting strange ever since you got home early last week, snapping at little things, staring off. It's like you're paranoid about something." There it was, the gaslighting starting. I felt my face heat up. Paranoid? Maybe I have reasons. She laughed softly, but it wasn't kind. "Reasons? Like what? You've been stressed from work and now you're taking it out on me. If you're imagining things, that's on you." I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "I'm not imagining. I see how things are." She shook her head, turning back to the stove. "See, this is what I mean. You're unstable lately, John. Maybe you need to talk to someone professional about this stress. It's ruining our evenings." We ate in tense silence after that, the clink of forks louder than usual. She tried again halfway through. Pass the Parmesan? I slid it over. Here. And no, I'm not unstable. You're flipping this all on me, she sighed dramatically. Flipping? I'm just worried about you. You've changed, and it's pushing us apart. The humiliation deepened, her words making me doubt myself for a split second, even with the evidence I had tucked away. I finished my plate and stood up. I'm done talking tonight. She watched me rinse my dish. Fine, be that way. But don't blame me when this blows up in your face. By Wednesday, the turmoil had me in a chokehold. Linda left for her so-called book club right around noon, like clockwork, and I already knew what that meant from the patterns I'd uncovered. No need to check again. But the knowledge ate at me all day at work. I pictured them at the Blue Ridge Inn, laughing about how clueless I was, and the disbelief turned to raw heartbreak, tears stinging my eyes in the car on the way home. What if word spread? Our friends pitying me, Emily isolated from her own husband. The social fallout would destroy everything we'd built. Mark had started dodging family time too. He texted earlier that he couldn't make our usual midweek call, claiming work overload. Sorry, John, buried in reports, his message read. It heightened the tension, like he knew I was onto something and was pulling back to avoid the heat. That evening, Linda came home humming, setting her bag down like nothing happened. Good meeting? I asked from the living room couch, my tone flat. She nodded, kicking off her shoes. Yeah, discuss that new novel. You should join sometime. Might help with your mood. I felt the isolation creep in, sitting there alone with my secrets to protect Emily. My mood? You're the one out all afternoon. She rolled her eyes, sitting across from me. Out with friends, John. Why are you so suspicious? It's like you don't trust me after all these years. Maybe your stress is making you see enemies where there are none. The gaslighting fired up again, flipping the blame so smoothly. Trust? That's gone. And don't call me stressed. It's an excuse. She leaned forward, voice softening falsely. Honey, listen to yourself. You're heartbroken over nothing. If you keep this up, you'll push everyone away, including Emily. Is that what you want? I stood up, pacing. What I want is the truth, she shrugged. The truth is you're unstable right now. Get some rest. Thursday night, Emily stopped by alone for dinner. Since Mark begged off again with another work excuse, she hugged me at the door. Dad, where's Mark? He said he'd try to come. I shrugged. Busy, I guess. Come in, Mom's got lasagna ready. We sat down to eat, but Emily kept glancing between us. You two okay? The air feels thick in here. Linda smiled brightly. We're fine, sweetie. Your dad's just had a tough week. I nodded along, hating the lie but needing to shield her. Yeah, work stuff. But after dinner, while Linda cleared plates, Emily pulled me into the hallway. Dad, seriously, you've been distant, and Mom looks worried. Is there trouble? You can tell me I'm not a kid anymore. Her eyes searched mine, and the isolation hit like a wave. I wanted to spill it all, but couldn't risk breaking her heart yet. It's nothing big, Em, just some arguments. We'll sort it, she squeezed my arm. Promise? I hate seeing you like this. Promise. Love you. She left looking doubtful, and the humiliation of hiding this mess gnawed deeper. By Friday evening, alone in my office after Linda went to bed early claiming a headache, my resolve started to harden amid the pain. I couldn't keep drowning in this turmoil. I had to prepare, quietly. I opened my laptop and searched for divorce attorneys in our area, bookmarking a few reputable ones with good reviews. If it comes to this, I need options, I thought, jotting down names and numbers in my notebook. Smith and Associates, family law specialists, Rivera Legal, known for asset division. I even drafted a simple email in my notes app, seeking consultation on marital issues, but didn't send it, just saved it for later. After drafting those lawyer notes in my office, I couldn't take the swirling turmoil anymore. The humiliation had turned into a burning resolve. I had to start fighting back, or I'd lose everything without a say. I picked up my phone and called Tom again, my voice low as Linda watched TV in the living room. Tom, it's John. I need your help, man. This thing with Linda and Mark, it's worse. I've got footage, texts, the works. He paused on the line, then said, All right, buddy. Meet me at the coffee shop tomorrow morning. We'll talk it through. I hung up, feeling a spark of hope amid the isolation. Linda glanced over as I sat down next to her. Who was that? She asked, muting the show. Just Tom catching up. She nodded, but her eyes lingered. You two haven't golfed in a while. Good to reconnect. I forced a smile. Yeah, it is. The next morning, Saturday, I told Linda I was meeting Tom for breakfast. Have fun, she said, kissing my cheek like everything was normal. I drove to the diner downtown, spotting Tom at a corner booth with 2 coffees ready. You look like crap, John, he said as I slid in. No sleep? I shook my head, leaning in. Worse. I installed a camera, caught them hugging, disappearing down the hall. App tracks show them at the motel Wednesdays. Texts confirm it all. Tom's face hardened. Damn, that's solid. What do you need from me? I took a sip of coffee, my hands steady for the first time in days. Help me get more proof. Something undeniable, like photos of them together outside. And maybe talk to neighbors, see if they've noticed Mark's car around when I'm gone. He nodded slowly. I can do that. I've got time off work. Discreet, right? No tipping them off. Exactly, I said. Start with following them next Wednesday. I'll give you the motel address. We planned it out over eggs and toast. I'll park across the street, snap pics of them arriving, maybe together, Tom said, sketching on a napkin. License plates, timestamps, and I'll knock on a few doors in your neighborhood, casual, like I'm checking on security or something. I agreed, feeling the counterattack build. Thanks, Tom. This means everything. He clapped my shoulder. You've been there for me through my divorce, least I can do. Back home, Linda was vacuuming the living room. How was Tom? She asked, turning it off. Good. He's doing well, she smiled. Invite him over sometime. We could barbecue. I nodded, but inside the irony stung. Her playing the perfect wife while I geared up to expose her. That afternoon, Emily called while I mowed the lawn. Dad, Mark's been weird, distant. Says it's work, but I don't know. You notice anything last time he was over? My heart twisted. I wanted to warn her, but not yet. Nah, probably just stress. Give him space, she sighed. Okay, love you. Love you too. Hanging up, I felt the isolation lift a bit with Tom on board. Sunday, I spent reviewing my file, texts, maps, that short camera clip of the hug and them heading down the hall. This plus Tom's stuff will seal it, I thought, hiding the notebook deeper in my desk. Linda suggested a movie night. Popcorn and that action flick? She asked, snuggling on the couch. I played along. Sure, but as the credits rolled, she turned to me. John, we okay? You've been better this weekend. I kissed her forehead. Yeah, we're good. Lies, but necessary. Monday at work, I focused better, knowing the plan was in motion. Tom texted, scouting the motel today. Layout's easy, good spots to park unseen. I replied, be careful. That evening, Linda mentioned book club on Wednesday. Might run late, she said over dinner. No problem, I said, smiling inwardly. Mark skipped our family text chain that day, his avoidance clear. Tuesday, Tom called after work. Talk to your neighbor, Mrs. Ellis. She saw Mark's car twice last month when you were at the office. Said it was odd, him coming in the back door. I pumped my fist silently. Great. Get her to write it down? Yeah, a short statement. And Mr. Gomez next door noticed too. Same days. He paused. They're willing to sign if needed. Perfect, I said. That's leverage. Wednesday morning, I kissed Linda goodbye like always. Have a good day, she said, heading out for errands before book club. I texted Tom. She's on the move. He replied, on it. At work, I checked the app discreetly. Her dot at the Blue Ridge Inn by noon. Mark's joining. My phone buzzed an hour later. Tom's photos attached. Got 'em, his message read. I opened them in the bathroom stall. Clear shots of Linda's car pulling in. Mark arriving minutes later, them meeting at the door with a quick kiss heading inside. Timestamps, room number visible. Holy crap, Tom, this is gold, I called him after. You nailed it. No one saw you? Nope, stayed in the car with the zoom lens, he said. Felt like a spy movie. We laughed, but mine was bitter. Add these to the file. Neighbors' statements, too. Back home that evening, Linda walked in flushed, claiming traffic delayed her. Book club fun? I asked, setting the table. Yeah, lively discussion. Mark texted Emily in the group. Can't make dinner Friday, client dinner. His dodging ramped up the tension. Thursday, Tom dropped by with a flash drive. All here, photos, scanned statements from Ellis and Gomez about suspicious visits. I took it, clapping his back. You're a lifesaver. He nodded. Now what? Plan a family meeting soon, but first, secure finances. That night, after Linda slept, I logged into our online banking from my laptop. I transferred half our savings to a new account in my name only. Nothing drastic. Just protecting against drains. Can't let her empty it, I thought. Noting joint credit cards and freezing one quietly via the app. No alerts to her yet. Friday, Emily came over upset. Mark bailed again, says work's killing him. Linda hugged her. He'll come around? I watched them, my resolve stealing. Yeah, work can be tough. After Emily left, Linda turned to me. Poor girl, Mark needs to step up. I almost laughed at the hypocrisy. He will. Saturday, I reviewed everything with Tom over phone. Files airtight, texts, footage, photos, statements. He agreed. Time for the meeting? I said soon, one carefully chosen night. That Saturday evening, after wrapping up my call with Tom, I stared at my phone. the weight of everything pressing down on me. I'd built this case piece by piece, and now it was time to crack it open. Just enough to force the truth without shattering Emily completely right away. I texted the family group, "Dinner tomorrow at our place, Mom's roast, let's catch up." Emily shot back quick, "Yes, we'll be there." Mark took his time, but finally, "Okay, sounds good." Linda peeked over as I set the table plans. "Nice idea, John. It'll be good to have everyone together." I nodded, my stomach twisting. "Yeah, it will." But inside, dread mixed with resolve. This dinner was my setup to reverse the lies they'd been feeding me. Sunday morning, I helped Linda in the kitchen, my hands steady as I peeled potatoes while she prepped the roast. The smell of herbs filled the air, but it did nothing to ease the knot in my chest. "You seem focused today," Linda said, sliding the pan into the oven. "No more mood swings?" I glanced at her, forcing a small smile, just looking forward to seeing Emily. She wiped her hands on a towel. "Me too. It's been a tense couple weeks. Maybe this smooths things out." I didn't respond, my mind on the single photo from Tom I'd printed and tucked in my pocket. Linda and Mark at the Blue Ridge Inn door, caught in that quick kiss before heading inside. It was damning, but I'd hold back the rest for now to protect Emily as long as I could. By late afternoon, the table was set with our best plates, the roast resting under foil. Emily and Mark arrived around 5, Emily hugging me tight at the door. Emily exhaled like she'd been holding her breath. "We barely made it, had to coordinate with the babysitter," she said with a small laugh, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "The kids are fine, just a little cranky tonight." She squeezed me again. "Dad, this smells incredible. Missed these family dinners." Mark shook my hand, his grip loose, eyes darting away. "Yeah, thanks for inviting us." We settled in the living room for appetizers, crackers, and dip, while waiting for the food to cool. Emily kicked things off, talking about her job. "This project's finally wrapping up. Feels good to see the end." Linda nodded from the couch. "Proud of you, sweetie. Mark, you must be swamped too with all those late hours." He shifted in his seat, forcing a grin. "Always busy, but it's paying off." I watched him closely, sipping my coffee. "Good to hear. Balance is key, though. Can't let work eat up family time." Mark glanced at Linda quick, then back to me. "Right, of course." We moved to the dining table around 6, the roast carved and steaming in the center with sides of veggies and rolls. "Dig in, everyone," Linda said, passing the platter. Emily took a bite and moaned. Mom, this is perfect. Hits the spot after a long week." Mark nodded, eating steadily but not saying much. "Yeah, solid." The small talk flowed for a bit, Emily asking about our garden, Linda sharing a funny story from the library. But the tension simmered under it all, Mark avoiding my gaze, Linda glancing at him now and then. Halfway through, I set my fork down, my heart pounding. "Actually, there's something we need to discuss, as a family." Emily paused, her knife hovering. "Dad, what's wrong? You sound serious." Linda frowned across the table. "John now? Can't it wait till after dessert?" Mark tensed up, his eyes flicking to the door. I pulled the printed photo from my pocket and slid it face up toward the center of the table. "This. Explain this to me and to Emily." It was the shot from the Blue Ridge Inn, Linda and Mark caught in that kiss at the door. Timestamp clear in the corner. Emily leaned in first, her face draining of color. "Mom, Mark, is this you two at a motel?" Linda's fork clattered to her plate, her hand shaking as she grabbed the photo. "John, where did you get this? It's not what it looks like." Mark cut in fast, his voice rising. "It's fake, Em. Your dad's been acting crazy lately, spying or something. This is manipulated." Emily's eyes welled up, staring at them. "Fake? It looks real. Tell me it's not." Linda's shoulders slumped, tears starting to fall. "Okay, it's real. Mark and we've been seeing each other. Our marriage felt stale, John, just going through the motions for years. No spark, no excitement. Mark made me feel alive again, loved in a way I hadn't in so long." Mark reached for Emily's hand across the table. "See, Em, it's not some sleazy thing, it's real feelings. Your dad's the one twisting this. He's always been controlling, paranoid about everything. Remember how he questions your choices, checks up on us? This is him trying to break us apart because he can't stand not being in charge." Emily yanked her hand back, her chair scraping as she stood. "Controlling? Dad's the one who found this. How could you, Mark? And Mom with my husband?" She turned to me, voice breaking. "Dad, how long have you known?" I stood too, moving around the table to pull her into a hug. "Not long, sweetie. I had to be sure before saying anything. I didn't want to hurt you without proof," Linda sobbed, reaching out. "Emily, please. It was a mistake. I still love your father, but things just happened." Mark jumped up, pointing at me. "Mistake? No, Em, listen, your dad's been gaslighting your mom, making her feel trapped. That's why she turned to me. He's the villain here, tearing the family up over jealousy." The room erupted then, Emily pushing away from both of them, tears streaming. Jealousy? You betrayed me, both of you. How do I even look at you now? She stormed to the living room, collapsing on the couch, her sobs echoing. Linda followed, kneeling beside her. Sweetie, forgive me. We can fix this. Mark hovered nearby, still twisting. Think about our future, the family we built, the kids already caught in the middle. Don't let your dad ruin that. Emily whipped around, voice cracking. Don't you dare use the kids to cover what you did. I stepped in front of him, voice firm. Stop manipulating her, Mark. This is on you two. Emily, I'm here for you no matter what. She looked up at me through tears. Dad, I need space. This is too much. Mark grabbed his coat. Fine, I'm out. Call me when you see sense, NM. He slammed the door on his way out. Linda crumpled against the wall, whispering, What have I done? Emily headed for the guest room, shutting herself in. I stood there in the wreckage, the family fractured in an instant, knowing I'd have to shield her from the worst of what's coming next. The real war was just beginning. The morning after that nightmare dinner, I woke up alone in our bed, the sheets cold on Linda's side. She'd crashed on the couch downstairs, probably crying herself to sleep after Emily stormed off to a friend's place and Mark slammed out the door. The house felt empty, like the air had been sucked out of it, and I sat at the kitchen table with my coffee, staring at the crumpled photo from the Blue Ridge Inn still on the floor. My chest ached from the betrayal, but the resolve kicked in hard. I couldn't let them walk away unscathed. I picked up my phone and texted Tom, Need a lawyer recommendation, filing today. He shot back quick. Got one. Harlan Reed, Family Law Pro. I'll send his number. I dialed right then, my voice steady as I set up a meeting for that afternoon. Linda shuffled in while I was hanging up, her eyes swollen and red. John, who was that? She asked, pouring herself a cup with shaky hands. My attorney, I said, not sugarcoating it. I'm done, Linda. After what you admitted last night, I'm filing for divorce. She set the mug down hard, spilling a little. Divorce? John, please, let's talk. We can go to counseling, work through this. For Emily, for our family. I stood up, facing her across the table. Family? You threw that away when you started sleeping with our son-in-law? You said it yourself. Our marriage was stale. Mark brought the excitement. Well, excitement's over. I've got evidence, texts, location tracks showing your meets, home camera clips, photos from the motel. And don't forget the financial stuff. Motel charges and those gifts you bought him with our joint. Money. That's dissipation of assets, Linda. The lawyer's going to love that. Her face went white. How do you know about the gifts? John, this will destroy us all. Think about the house, our retirement. We can split things quietly, no courts. I shook my head. Quietly? You mean sweep it under the rug like you tried last night? No. I already protected some finances a couple weeks back, transferred what I could to a safe account. This goes to court now. That afternoon, I met Harlan at his office downtown, a no-nonsense guy in a sharp suit who listened as I laid out the basics. 35 years married, caught her with my daughter's husband. Here's the categories: incriminating texts I screenshot, maps tracking their locations to the same spots repeatedly, a home camera clip catching them in our house, photos of them at the motel door, and a neighbor's note about seeing his car when I wasn't home. Harlan nodded, jotting notes. Strong adultery case and the finances? I pulled out the bank statements I'd printed. Look, motel charges here, jewelry and dinners paid with our joint card. Thousands drained on their affair. He leaned back. Dissipation clear as day. We'll file the petition today. Cite adultery and financial misconduct. Seek temporary orders for asset freeze, maybe exclusive use of the house. Court date could be scheduled in a few weeks for prelims. You the main breadwinner? I confirmed it. Good. Aim for majority assets, limited alimony. Sign here. I did, feeling the weight lift a bit as I drove home. The tables were starting to turn. Linda was pacing the living room when I walked in. John, we need to discuss this. Emily called me earlier, screaming about how I ruined her life. She's talking separation from Mark. I set my bag down. She should. I support her 100%. Linda grabbed my sleeve. But divorce for us? Please, withdraw it. We can mediate. I pulled back. Mediate what? Your love with Mark? The papers are filed. You'll get served soon. She sank onto the couch, head in her hands. This is a nightmare. What about our friends, the neighbors? Everyone will know. I didn't answer, just headed upstairs to call Emily. Dad, she said when she picked up, her voice raw. I can't stay with him. Can you help me find a lawyer? I want to start separation proceedings. I sat on the bed, gripping the phone. Absolutely, kiddo. Come over tomorrow, I'll get a referral from mine. You can stay here as long as you need. We'll set boundaries, no contact with them till you're ready, she sniffled. Thanks, Dad. I love you. Love you too. We'll get through this. The next day, Tuesday, The process server showed up at our door mid-morning. Linda answered, and I watched from the hallway as he handed her the envelope. "Linda Thompson, you've been served." She took it with trembling hands, slamming the door after. "John, this is official now, petition for divorce. How could you?" Tears streamed down her face. "I had to, for me, for Emily." She clutched the papers. "The whole town will gossip. We're in a small suburb. People talk. Neighbors saw the server car outside." I nodded. "Let them. Truth's out." Emily arrived that afternoon, bags in hand. "I'm moving out of our place for now. Mark's blowing up my phone, begging me to come back." We sat at the kitchen table, and I handed her the referral card from Harlan. "Call this guy. He's good. We'll go together if you want." She dialed right there, setting up a meeting. "Dad, what do I say?" I held her hand. "The truth. Adultery with your mom. Evidence we can share. Start with temporary orders, maybe on your shared stuff like the car possession till it's sorted." Her lawyer confirmed over speaker. "We'll file the complaint tomorrow, cite infidelity." "Bring any proof?" Emily nodded, determined. "I have the photo Dad showed." "That enough to start?" He agreed. "Plenty for initiation." By Wednesday, the exposure started creeping out. Linda left to stay with her sister, whispering as she packed, "I can't face the neighbors staring." I helped Emily settle in her old room. "Dad, Mark texted me. He had an HR meeting at work today. Said rumors are flying about personal issues, and they're changing his schedule. Watching him close, thinks it's because of this." I poured us some tea. "Probably is. Small town, gossip spreads fast. Someone might have overheard something or seen the tension." She sipped, eyes hard. "Good, let him feel it. Demotion risk if it affects his performance, right?" I nodded. "Actions have consequences." Mark called me that night, furious. "John, my boss pulled me in. Whispers about an affair, productivity concerns. This your revenge? Spreading lies?" I kept calm. "Not lies, Mark. And I didn't spread anything. Truth has a way of getting out." He hung up, cursing. Over the next couple weeks, the momentum built. Court date got scheduled for a month out. Temporary orders requested to freeze assets. Emily filed her separation papers. Her lawyer using the motel photo and some financial overlaps to push for boundaries. "We'll request no contact order if needed," he told us at his office. Emily leaned on me after. "Hi, Dad, this hurts, but I'm glad you're here." Linda called daily, pleading, "John, stop this. For our future grandkids one day, don't tear it all apart." I hung up most times. Mark's repercussions mounted. Another HR reprimand, shifted to less client-facing work, whispers in his office about his family drama. The suburb buzzed, neighbors asking me careful questions like, "Everything okay at home?" I kept it vague. "Going through some changes." But I felt the shift, the betrayers cornered, Emily safe with me. Still, the battle wasn't won. A couple weeks after I filed those divorce papers, the real ugliness hit when Linda went public with her lies. Emily burst through the front door that Tuesday morning. Her face flushed as she thrust her phone at me while I sipped my coffee at the kitchen table. "Dad, look what Mom posted on Facebook overnight," she said, her voice trembling with anger. "She's calling you controlling, paranoid, even abusive, saying you've been monitoring her every move for years, making her feel trapped in the marriage. And her friends are commenting, agreeing like they always knew." I scrolled through it, my blood boiling as I read her words. John questioned my friends, checked my outings, suffocated me after 35 years. Now he's dragging me to court for revenge. The outrage hit me like a punch. After her betrayal, she was flipping it to make me the monster. I handed the phone back, forcing calm. "This is manipulation, Em. She's trying to sway opinion before the temporary orders hearing. But I won't stoop to her level online. We'll hit back with facts through Harlan." I called my lawyer right away, forwarding the post. "Harlan, Linda's smearing me on social media, controlling, abusive, paranoid," I told him, my voice steady despite the rage. "We can file a motion calling it bad faith," he replied. "Get declarations from people who know you. Show you're not like that. We'll attach evidence summaries to tear down her story." I got to work immediately, starting with Tom. "Tom, I need a sworn declaration from you, how you've known me forever. That I'm fair and supportive, not controlling." He didn't hesitate. "You got it, John. I'll write up our years of friendship, no paranoia till this mess, notarizing it now." Next, I reached out to Mrs. Ellis, our neighbor who'd noted Mark's shady visits. "Mrs. Ellis, Linda's posting lies about me being abusive. Can you declare what you've seen me as a good husband over the years?" She agreed quick. "Of course, John. You've always been kind, no controlling vibes. I'll sign and drop it off." Emily piped in from the couch. "Get Mike too, Dad," I called our son. "Mike, Mom's spreading stories online about me controlling her. Need your declaration, how our family was balanced." Mike sighed. "I'll do it, Dad." You've been the steady one, not abusive, sending it soon. The statements rolled in by afternoon. Tom's detailed our trust, Mrs. Ellis praised my neighborly ways. Mike recalled our supportive home. Harlan filed the motion that evening, attaching summaries. The motel door photo proving the affair, text screenshots of their plans, financial traces showing motel charges and gifts from our joint funds. This undermines her narrative completely, Harlan said. Thursday, Mark piled on, commenting under Linda's post, "Spot on, Linda. John's been paranoid, manipulating Emily against me. That's the real abuse here." Emily showed me, her eyes flashing. "See, Dad, they're coordinating this bad faith to the core." The outrage surged again, seeing him blame me while hiding his betrayal. "It'll bite them," I said. Harlan updated the motion. "Their teamwork shows manipulation. Use it against them." The temporary orders hearing came Monday. The courtroom thick with tension as the judge pored over the filings. Harlan presented first. "Your Honor, the respondent's smears claim my client is controlling, but these declarations from a friend, neighbor, and son prove otherwise. A fair man all around." He passed the stack. "Her coordination with the son-in-law in comments is bad faith, and the evidence, like affair photos and financial dissipation, exposes the truth," Linda's lawyer mumbled. "Just venting, Your Honor." The judge eyed the post printout sternly. "This seems like prejudice. Granting temporary orders, Mr. Thompson gets exclusive house use, asset freeze to stop any more spending, interim spousal support limited to essentials till trial." Linda looked crushed as the gavel fell. Outside, her attorney pulled her aside. I overheard him warn, "Delete those posts immediately, or the judge could slap you with restrictions on public statements. No more videos or comments." She nodded, defeated, and by evening, Emily checked. "Gone, Dad. Posts deleted, comments wiped, silenced, just like that." Satisfaction washed over me, seeing her lies yanked down. 2 weeks later, the settlement conference unfolded in a bland mediation room, the mediator urging compromise after the temporary orders favored me. Harlan laid it out plain. "With the evidence and failed smears, John keeps the house, majority of retirement and savings, 70% given the asset drain. Spousal support limited to 2 years, minimal to cover basics." Linda sat across the table, eyes downcast, Mark not there but his shadow hanging heavy. His HR probation had turned to demotion, clients reassigned, colleagues shunning him as gossip spread about his family scandal. Her lawyer pushed back feebly. "She needs more support." But Linda broke. "No, I agree, just end it." We signed the settlement in principle, locking the terms, house mine, most funds secure. Her support capped short. Harlan clapped my shoulder outside. "Divorce finalizes soon, but this wins it." Emily met me at home, smiling faint. "Mark's isolated now, friends dropping him, job crumbling. We did it, Dad." Empowerment surged through me as we hugged. Their lies collapsed, them cornered by truth. Now I could focus on rebuilding, stronger than before. It's been about 5 years since the divorce papers were signed and finalized, and looking back, I can say without a doubt that confronting the truth head-on was the best decision I ever made. The suburban house I fought to keep in the settlement became my sanctuary, with most of the retirement savings staying in my name and Linda's spousal support limited to just enough for her basics over a short time. I retired early from accounting, turning the garage into a woodworking shop where I craft tables and shelves, selling a few at local fairs. "John, this oak piece is stunning," a customer said once, running her hand over the smooth finish. I smiled back. "Thanks, keeps me busy and grounded." The peace I feel now is real. No more nights staring at the ceiling, questioning every shadow. Instead, I wake up to birds chirping outside my window, brewing coffee, and planning simple days that bring joy instead of pain. Emily and I grew inseparable through the mess, our bond forged in fire. She divorced Mark not long after her separation started, and now she's thriving in her project manager role, dating a solid guy who adores her. But the real light in our lives are her kids, my grandkids, Lily and Ben, who were just toddlers during the fallout. One Saturday morning, they bounded into the kitchen for our weekend pancake ritual, Lily tugging my apron. "Grandpa, can we add chocolate chips today?" she asked, her eyes wide with excitement. I knelt down, ruffling her hair. "Of course, sweetie." "Ben, you flipped the first one?" Ben nodded eagerly, climbing onto the stool with my help. "Like this, Grandpa?" he said, spatula in hand. Emily watched from the table, sipping her coffee. "Dad, you're a natural with them. They love these mornings." We laughed as batter splattered, the kitchen filling with the sweet smell of breakfast, turning ordinary moments into treasures that healed us all. Holidays bring us together even more, like last Christmas when the grandkids helped decorate the tree in the living room. Lily hung ornaments high as I lifted her up. "This one's my favorite, the shiny star." She giggled, reaching for the top. Ben added tinsel below, his little hands careful. Grandpa, does it look good? He asked, stepping back proud. Perfect, buddy, I replied, pulling them both into a hug. Emily snapped a photo, her eyes misty. Dad, this is what family should be. No secrets, just love. Mike flew in for the day, too, joining the chaos with gifts and stories. Looking sharp, old man, he teased, clapping my shoulder. Kids adore you, proud of how you've bounced back. We gathered around the table for dinner, toasts ringing out, the warmth chasing away any lingering shadows from the past. Sarah came into my life 2 years ago, a kind widow I met at a community woodworking class, and she fit right into our world like she was always meant to be there. She's gentle and steady, with a laugh that lights up rooms, and she adores the grandkids as much as they love her. One afternoon, I picked up Lily and Ben from school, our routine when Emily works late, and Sarah joined me, waiting in the car with snacks. Grandpa, Sarah, Lily yelled, running over with her backpack bouncing. We made drawings today. This one's for you, she said, handing Sarah a colorful scribble. Ben climbed in back. Can we go to the park, please? Sarah smiled, passing out apple slices. Absolutely, if Grandpa says yes. I nodded, starting the engine. Park it is. We spent the hour pushing swings and chasing them around, Sarah fitting seamlessly, her hand in mine as we watched. Emily thanked us later. Dad, Sarah's great with them. You two make a good team. Sarah squeezed my arm that night on the porch. I love this life with you, John. No drama, just real. Me too, I whispered back, the sunset painting the sky. Linda's life turned out as quiet and regretful as her choices deserved. She scrapes by in a small apartment, working part-time retail after her library job dried up. No more luxuries from our old funds. She tried contacting me a year ago, a shaky voicemail. John, I regret it all. The affair, the posts. Can we talk? I called back calm, setting boundaries. Linda, water under the bridge. But no more contact, focus on your peace. She hung up silent, and word from mutual friends says she's isolated now. Old circles fading after her smears backfired. Mark fared worse, his career tanked with demotions and lost jobs, bouncing between gigs as his reputation followed him. Community rejecting the cheater who tore a family apart. He messaged Emily bitter once. Your dad's poison ruined me, job gone, friends vanished. She blocked him for good, no reply needed. Last I heard, he lives alone in a rundown spot, powerless and forgotten. Reflecting on it all, I narrate this story knowing the truth sets you free. Confronting betrayal with evidence empowered me to rebuild a life without deception. As I watched the grandkids play in the yard one sunny afternoon, Lily and Ben laughing under the tree we planted together, Emily and Sarah chatting nearby, I feel that peace deep in my bones. Grandpa, catch! Ben yells, tossing a ball my way. I grab it, tossing back gentle. This is my happy ending, deserved, hard-won, and full of love. Sometimes what we need isn't advice, but someone to stand by us and say, that's enough. If this story brings you even a little relief, drop a comment down below telling me where you're watching from and what time it is for you, right? Now, I read every line, and I make these videos to remind you, you are not alone. On screen right now, you'll see 2 news stories I think you'll really enjoy. There are many more waiting for you on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss one. See you in the next story. Until then, take care of yourself and the people you love. With all my love and respect.